After JNU BBC documentary row now at Jamia, Jamia students were detained earlier on by the Delhi police. The Jamia gates were closed and security was deployed. The Jamia students claimed that they wanted to screen the BBC documentary. Jamia, in fact, authorities refused permission to screen the film. The university issued a notice to students as well. However, the SFI says that they will screen the docu-series in Presidency College, Kolkata now. Now, just a day ahead of Republic Day celebrations, a bomb exploded in the Ukhrul district of Manipur on Wednesday evening, injuring 3 pedestrians. As per police sources, the incident took place at the community circle Gandhi Chowk in Ukhrul town. 3 persons, including 1 woman who were crossing the road, were injured during this blast. Let me go across to Ratnadeep for more details. Ratnadeep, what more do we know about this and what is the security force? What are the security forces saying now, considering that it was just a day ahead of Republic Day celebrations?
This incident coming a day ahead of the Republic Day celebration is a cause of concern for security agencies. In fact, in Manipur, security has been beefed up after this incident. Now, this incident took place in a rather crowded place in the heart of Ukhrul town at Gandhi Chowk, where these 3 people have sustained injuries, out of which we are told 1 injured person, a lady, is said to be having serious injuries, and she has been shifted to state capital Imphal for for better treatment. But none of the militant groups have claimed responsibility so far for this blast, and police sources say that they are investigating. In fact, Ukhrul is a district which is a remote district, and therefore all along the district borders the security has been beefed up. But this also comes at a time where several militant groups across Northeast have given a boycott call for Republic Day, including the Ulfa independent faction led by Parir Barua, and therefore security has also been beefed up in vulnerable areas in Assam as well.
All right, Ratnadeep, getting us those details about that bomb blast in which 3 people were injured in Ukhrul in Manipur. Let's move on now. Congress veteran leader A.K. Anthony's son Anil Anthony has quit the party, levelling allegations of sycophancy once again in the party. This after he viewed some differing views on the BBC docu-series on Modi, and hence he says that he received a backlash from within the party, because of which he has resigned.
Another Gen Next Congress leader calls it quits. Party veteran A.K. Anthony's son, Anil Anthony, left the Congress on Wednesday after a critical tweet on the party's stand on the BBC's documentary on Prime Minister Modi. Anthony Jr. said he was upset at the threats and abuses he got after this tweet, where he had asked the party to be cautious in its stand on the BBC documentary where it was emanating from. He added that he did not consult his father before the decision.
A lot of events happened very fast in the last 24 hours, and my father is actually in my hometown in Kerala attending a family function. We never had a chance to actually speak, so I haven't had any consultation with him. Whatever I am doing is my own decisions, which I am doing based on the best of my understanding and based on what my conscience says.
Anil's exit is particularly embarrassing for the party, as Rahul Gandhi has publicly called A.K. Anthony his guru. Without naming Party General Secretary K.C. Venugopal, Anil attacked the coterie around Rahul Gandhi.
It is somebody who has a lot of regards for, and this is a person I know from the time I am a toddler. So I have absolutely no intention to ill-mouth anybody in any manner. So I will not be naming anybody. This is not the intention at all.
Rahul Gandhi has termed those leaving the party as riff-raff, while Congress has officially not reacted to the latest exit. Another disgruntled leader, Shashi Tharoor, who recently contested for the presidential elections and has started a mass contact program in Kerala, disagrees.
Well, I haven't, as I said, I have not spoken to Anil. He is somebody I have good regard for. He's a bright young man. I hope some very, very constructive ideas. Doesn't mean we have to agree on everything all the time. On this particular issue, I would not agree that our sovereignty is so easily affected. But as far as his resignation is concerned, he has not discussed it with me, so I don't think it's right for me to comment.
The BJP was quick to point out the double standards in the Congress about tolerating dissent.
I don't want to comment and make it political, but I certainly think it's very sad that a young idealist Indian who says what is obviously an incontrovertible truth is hounded out of the India's oldest party.
For the Congress, Anil's resignation couldn't have come at a worse time. Immediately after the controversial remarks of Digvijay Singh and Rahul Gandhi reaching the finishing point of his over 3,500-kilometer Yatra. The divide and the rumblings of the party are far from over.
Let's move on now. The judgments delivered by the Supreme Court will now be translated into 4 languages: Hindi, Tamil, Gujarati and Oriya. That's what Chief Justice of India D.Y. Chandrachud said, while remarking that English is not a comprehensible language to 99.99% of the citizens in the country.
And the issue will be decided in the other proceeding.
A decades-old practice of the Supreme Court will end on Thursday.
Otherwise it will be difficult.
You can't set aside as if it's an appellate court.
Judgments will no longer be in English alone, but also translated into 4 languages: Hindi, Tamil, Gujarati and Oriya.
These are initiated for translation of the judgments of the Supreme Court in regional languages. Because we must understand that the language which we use, namely English, is a language which is not comprehensible, particularly in its legal avatar, to 99.9% of our citizens. In which case, really, access to justice cannot be meaningful unless citizens are able to access and understand in a language which they speak and comprehend.
8 and 11 are identical.
Says that much.
The judgments will be translated using machine learning, overseen by a sitting judge, and translated versions of the judgments will be made available simultaneously along with English versions.
Together, we are now creating a team whereby they will use machine learning for the translation of Supreme Court judgments in various Indian languages. We are now tapping into the talent of retired judicial officers who will be paid by the Supreme Court from out of its own resources to verify whether the translation has been done correctly.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi welcomed the move. On Republic Day, the Supreme Court is likely to make available 1,268 translated judgments in regional languages as part of the initiative by former Chief Justice Ranjan Gogoi in 2019 to make judgments accessible in local languages. With Arvind Gunasekar in Delhi, Bureau Report, NDTV.
India and Egypt are now strategic partners. Visiting President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi met with Prime Minister Modi today. The two sides signed 5 MOUs. He will be the first Egyptian president to be the Republic Day chief guest. The first ever chief guest from Egypt for India's Republic Day, President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi was given a ceremonial welcome on Wednesday. A country that enjoys good ties with both the US and China and has taken a fairly neutral stand on India in the OIC, where India has accused Pakistan of trying to push its agenda, New Delhi elevated its ties with Cairo to the level of a strategic partnership with a clear focus on security, counter-terrorism and economy.
भारत और इजिप्ट दुनिया भर में हो रहे आतंकवाद के प्रसार से चिंतित हैं। हम एकमत है कि आतंकवाद मानवता के लिए सबसे गंभीर सुरक्षा खतरा है। दोनों देश इस बात पर भी सहमत हैं कि क्रॉस बॉर्डर टेररिज्म को समाप्त करने के लिए ठोस कार्रवाई आवश्यक है।
India has also invited Egypt as a guest for the G20 summit under India's presidency in September. Egypt also participated in the Voice of the Global South virtual summit organized by India this month.
मैंने प्रधानमंत्री जी को वर्ष 2023 के लिए भारत के G20 समिट की मेजबानी में होने वाले सभा में भाग लेने के लिए आमंत्रण देने के लिए अपना आभार प्रकट किया और धन्यवाद दिया है और उन्हें आश्वासन दिया है कि मिस्र एक रचनात्मक दिशा में वार्ता को आगे बढ़ाने के लिए प्रयास में कोई भी कसर नहीं छोड़ेगा.
Egypt has been India's traditional trading partner from Africa. Bilateral trade stood at $7.26 billion in 2021-22, which was 75% higher than the previous year. India and Egypt established diplomatic ties within 4 days of India's independence on the 18th of August 1947. Since then, the relationship has been satisfactory. However, with a keen renewed focus on West Asia and the Arab world at the moment, the attention has been increased. For instance, despite an embargo on the export of wheat last year, India made an exception for Egypt in May, allowing the lifting of 61,000 tons of wheat in 3 tranches. Egypt, that traditionally buys wheat from Ukraine and Russia, was facing a tough time in view of the war and also lifted a ban on Indian wheat to allow for that import to take place. India too stepping in at a time when it crucially needed the supply during a time of food shortage. In New Delhi, Maha Siddiqui for NDTV. Meanwhile, ahead of Republic Day celebrations, all the buildings in the country, the important buildings, are decked up in the tricolour. All these pictures coming in from various parts of the country, Mumbai, Delhi, buildings lit up in the tricolour.